Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Very good, thanks.
So I watched the first three episodes. So
Uh-huh.
the two that you directed and another as well. Really liking what I've seen so far.
Well, that's great.
Um, so I would like to start off with asking how you got involved in this series to begin with, and yeah, how early on you were able to get in on shaping the actual look of the show.
The I got involved very early because I've known Danny Strong for you know you know quite a while it seems, and he called me up. And he said, "I'm working on this thing," and he said, uh, "Dealing with." OxyContin, the whole issue. There's a book, that working from, etc. But it's got a lot of additional research, etc. And I said, well, let me take a look. And I read it, and I called him the next day because of the first episode that he had written. He hadn't written that many at that point, but he had written that. And I said, gee, this Danny, I think this can be absolutely terrific. And he told me about, the how it keeps playing out and etc. And he said, would you get involved in it? And I said, yeah, I think it's really compelling stuff. And so I got involved in it. And then it was like, well, then who's in it? And then we talked and worked on that. And where do we shoot it? And how do we create the look of, where is this mining community? And so basically, what does it look like, as well? How do we do this and that? And spent those months on that. And and then I did the first few episodes of it. And 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 then of course, as the piece goes on, and as you will see, and then the what happens and the cause and effect of it and everything else is really absolutely fascinating. But that's how it started. He said, well, when you want to take a look at it, and because I know him, because he's a really good writer, and we just sort of went down that path. So, and then things evolve as you're beginning to discover things. Certainly in the first episodes, because you can play around a little bit in it and just say, oh yeah, maybe we could tweak it a little this way and that way and all of that. And that sort of lays out the palette for the series.
Yeah, and it strikes me that if one look at your earlier work, you've always been able to create really great looking shows that are also very exciting to watch with the dialogue. Um, and I think this is the kind of show that might have been a movie instead. If it would have been like a decade ago, probably it wouldn't have been a series. And I was wondering, was there ever a movie version of this, or was it always intended to be a mini series? Since it's quite a wide scope to.
No, it's
to
always was designed as a miniseries because
yeah,
of, and as you'll see as it continues to play out, the complications of it and the cause and effect of it all, in a sense, is best served in a miniseries. It's one of the things about a miniseries that are good because it's its own form. It's its new form, because a film you can do it 2.5, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, Lawrence of Arabia, whatever,
yeah,
and all of those kinds of things. But now you'd say, oh well, we could do 10 hours, to complete it. And so that opens the door to, in a sense, how to tell a story.
yeah,
Because a feature, no matter how you look at it, is always a compression. Now the
yeah,
compression may be great in certain situations, but you have this on, the potential of doing something that the arc is much, much, wider and more curved than you imagine.
I understand. So I've seen quite a few talks that you've done before about your earlier work, and I really enjoyed hearing about your actual advice, directional directorial advice to actors to kind of when someone gets stuck, how to get unstuck and to pivot. Was there anything like that that needed to be done during this shoot as well? You're working as always with a lot of really great actors on this, and as you said, the writing was really good to begin with. Was wondering if there's anything you feel like we're able to.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that it's always the same in this, is that yes, you have you've got the form, you've got the blueprint,
Yeah.
and then you got the characters, and there's always something to be learned about character as you continue to go along, and
Yeah.
and that all of a sudden, what about if we do this little moment here? And it might be very, very small. Maybe no one will pay attention to it, but you could be building on it, and then the character just becomes just a little richer. Same dialogue, it's just a little different, tweak to it, or you sort of have to tweak a line or whatever, and then that sort of engages us an audience. Otherwise, it's just simply somebody giving you information.
Exactly.
And you always want to get past just information, because God knows you need the information, but you want to have it so the audience is sort of engaged in that in a certain way that there's something fascinating that for us.
Yeah, I was also wondering a bit about the decision to go non-linear and jumping back and forth throughout the times. We see it with the years going by down at the bottom of the screen, so you know kind of where you are in the story.
Yeah.
And if how you decided to go on that route to jump back and forth within the same episodes, if that made it easier, or how you went about it.
It's a good question. I mean, you really can't tell the story if you did it in a pure linear fashion, because then some characters won't come in for
at the end. Yeah.
They show up in the end, and you go, oh, there they are. And so you can't really do it that way. And I think Danny's decision to keep sliding in time also keeps you aware of it. You go, my God, this thing spanned this much time. It took that much time to finally, deal with the Sackler family and to get verdicts on some of this stuff. That long a time. Otherwise, you don't quite get that feeling. Like in 1999, they were doing this, or whatever the years might be, right?
Yeah.
And then 6 years later, they're still working on it. You know what I mean? So there's I think the size of it and how long you have to work at something was enhanced by the design to do that. I also think in the times we live in now, and it's just the evolution of film, is that we no longer are bound by the convention of you begin here and then you end there. You know what I mean? I think that because of television and all these things have impacted, that we have no problem moving in and out and back and forth in time or whatever. It's not a particularly complicated issue unless you don't do it well at all. And they'll go, well, wait a minute, how'd that happen? But if you do handle it in a reasonable way, an audience doesn't have that much of an issue in terms of time. I think we're too savvy. Yeah,
exactly. So we're almost out of our time together, but I was just getting one last one in. Sure. Might have to keep it short, but I was wondering, what are you guys hoping that the viewers will take away from watching this show? Maybe viewers that didn't really know about how this came about.
Well, I always think that the hoping, is I think what you do is you try to present something that you think is a compelling story about a topic that should, in a sense, be exposed. And then the audience watches it, as opposed to, and I hope that they, what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I think that so much feels a little pretentious, as let's tell a story that you might not really know the intricacies of it. And this is what happened. And this is the cause and effect of it. And as opposed to, I hope this and that. I think that I don't like to be presumptuous in any way. It's like best to say, here it is, watch it. You come to your conclusions.
One can hope that it's compelling enough to keep on watching it.
Yes, and then maybe some people will begin to say, my God, how's this possible? This is our government. What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for your time, Barry. Wish you all the best with the premiere.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.